if you are watching this, Ozzy Osbourne is dead. Rest in peace, Theo.
I thought that nigga been dead, not Theo.
Not Theo?
The other nigga.
Ozzy Osbourne?
You know that nigga, he bit a what was it, a bat's head off on stage.
Yeah. See, they be wilding.
Something's wrong with white people. Though.
You know what? First of all, you know what they tradition, like they get turned up and they start crushing them guitars?
Okay, yeah, I thought you were just talking about white people in general. I didn't know that was a tradition for white people.
I mean,
damn, white people, everybody got a guitar?
Dude,
no,
them rock bands.
No, I get you.
But you know them be like $100,000, $250,000 guitars, some of them, and they just be crashing them on stage.
White life is different, cuz.
Wow, G.
It's very different, cuz. We question kids to get the money back. Fuck out of here. Run me that 8 cent.
So they got the who was it? Nickelback, I think, got the country song "I Want to Be a Rock Star."
I don't even know who the fuck Nickelback is.
It's cool, but they got a song that I like
a position in football
called "I Want to Be a Nickelback." I used to always
that sounds racist.
What?
I want to be a Nickelback. It just sounds like they want to say nigga again. I don't want to hear that shit.
I used to tell all my players that come like, Coach, what am I gonna play today? Boy, you're gonna play ass back. I'm like, what? That's when you come to me like, Coach, can I get in the game? I'd be like, boy, get your ass back.
You gonna play ass back. I'm gonna start saying that shit.
Coach, can I get in the game? Boy, get your ass back.
Get your ass back.
But now on the Nickelback joint, they got lyrics in there that's like, I want to be a rock star. We're gonna do drugs all day. We're gonna all stay skinny because we just won't eat. We're gonna hang out in the coolest bars with the porn stars and the yada yada.
So seriously, this was rap pre 2005 because that's what rap is today.
I mean,
that's how rap is today. Every little dude who likes rap looks like a drug addict.
Yeah, I think it's part of it. It's part of the costume at least.
I think they are drug addicts too, though, G.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, driving in Chicago was outrageous at this point in time, right? But I took my daughter to one of her friend's birthday parties the other night. Marshall was having a all-class reunion same time.
Okay.
So Jackson is...
That had to be like 35 people.
Cracking. No, this was when Marshall had students, so it's all class.
No, I mean the people that's graduated from Marshall. Had to be...
Yeah, freshmen count in all class.
They can't call it alumni.
All you had to do was get in. You know what I'm saying? All class. But it was whole Jackson. Packed. Yeah. Right? Every West Side drug dealer that ever existed was on Jackson at the moment.
That's what's up.
So I was just thinking about like driving to Jackson. Like I swerved out of like 4 accidents. But it's late at night because I'm going to a birthday party. I drive that route every morning doing rush hour traffic and never have a problem.
Right.
But it's a different driver at night.
It'd be wild.
They was on the drugs. She used the drugs. I go home at 7. I wasn't no smoke.
Nah, the drug thing is very real. It's very prevalent. I guess it's that too. That's another way it's mimicking the rock music. They be all on.
That's
all
what I'm saying.
Drugs,
whatever Nickelback was singing is what these rap niggas is singing too.
What's different about the rock star? You talk about like Ozzy. I think Ozzy Osbourne was like 74. is what I think.
He was only 74. That man looked like he was 160-12.
Yes, he did. He did. He definitely did.
Shit.
But I think he was 74. But nobody. They was on tour like last week. Kiss Band was on tour. Nobody was like, oh, they aged out like they do rappers.
74 is crazy though, right? Yeah. I'm only laughing because we was laughing.
He lived a long 74.
We was laughing. We was talking before the cameras came on, and we was talking about Will Harris playing a 17-year-old when he was 40.
Right.
And Ozzy Osbourne is 72, and he looks like
he
he's
couldn't play a 74-year-old.
They got different shit.
It's different.
He's 74, couldn't play a 74-year-old.
It's different.
That's crazy.
No, it's different, man. But you got to think, especially that lifestyle, the drug, sex, rock and roll. You know, I'd be like, well, you sleep a third of your life, 8 hours out of the 24 in a day. You sleep a third of your life. Ozzy probably slept a tenth of his life, maybe. I don't think them niggas would sleep.
Yeah, I don't think he slept.
They was up all day
you
on the
sleep
coke
on
for
cocaine,
a week.
G. Cocaine don't let you sleep, G.
Coke for a week.
Yeah.
Liquor.
A crackhead to clean up the whole neighborhood in 6 days because he will not sleep.
Lying, Jack.
He will not sleep,
you ain't lying, Jack. And they be aware. My cluck homie from a local establishment I like to frequent. I pulled up and I was just sitting there. I was on the phone. I was fucking around. I'm sitting there. So I'm seeing him go. He got a divvy bike. Right, that he didn't whatever. So he on his divvy bike back and forth. I'm seeing him do this. But man, I'm in a rental. Like I ain't even in my car or none of that. So I don't see him seeing me.
Mm-hmm.
So then a little while later I get out, go in there, and he come up in there. I'm like, yo, oh, I'm like, what's good? He like, yeah, you finally came in, huh? I said, what? He said, I seen you sitting out there. I said, you see me?
Man, seen.
Seen everything,
His neighborhood, nigga.
For real.
But what happened to crack, G? Crack dope ain't really as prevalent, right? So the new dope fiends hustle ain't the same.
I feel like it's making a comeback.
Crack ain't making no comeback, G.
Gee, I saw a man, open street, pipe, glass jaw, burnt tip.
55th and Expressway?
Where was I exactly? Because I walked right past him. No. Nigga, I was on Roosevelt and Wabash.
That's not crack.
You know what
Look
served
at the
on
expert.
Roosevelt and
Right.
Wabash?
Right.
I know who you're talking about.
Well, you got that work
No,
over there?
it's like a million of them.
What is it then?
It's an open air drug market.
No, you're right though. You're right. Because the guy I'm talking about, he be leaning.
Oh no, that's that heroin.
Yeah, that's the heroin.
But the shorties call it. The shorties don't call it heroin.
Mm-hmm.
Bella hit me with this the other day. She said he got that fentanyl, Daddy. He got that fentanyl. I said, what'd you say?
The fentanyl.
The fentanyl. That's what I'm feeling that with
folded.
Fentanyl. She said he got the fentanyl, but it's the heroin lean.
Yeah,
but she called it the fentanyl. I died laughing.
Funny.
I said I should be laughing at this.
Salute to the shorties for coming up with
I
that one.
should be laughing at this.
Fentanyl.
The fentanyl. I said, oh Lord.
I can dig it.
But they hustle is different, right? The new dope fiends just steal. The old dope fiends work for their shit.
My man said, somebody said this man fixed my whole car with a lawnmower engine. But they did though, you're right. They could do anything, they could fix anything. They had unhuman strength.
They went hard for this, man.
They went hard for it.
They went hard. I had a man get under a car on 9094, damn near the middle lane. It was insane. I said, this is crazy.
I got you. I got you.
What you need?
I got you.
You ain't gonna be sick long.
I
We gonna
got
get this
you.
right.
You got some tools? I got a plastic fork. Come on.
You gonna get this right, G. Yeah, man.
They
Salute
do.
to the old crackheads, man. These new fiend niggas ain't worth nothing.
Salute to the old crackheads. Rest in peace again to Eastside Crackhead. What up, y'all, man? Welcome into this edition of Herb and Two. I am alongside the one and only Toussaint Warner. My name is Herb Howard, and we talk about issues currently impacting the black community right here. We use your help. We need your help. We appreciate your help to talk through these issues. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the alert so you get reminders every time that the page does put up new content. This is Herb and Two. It's intellectual thuggery at its absolute finest. Again, my name is Herb. His name is Two. Two. You look a little sleepy, good brother.
Yes, my brother. It's time. I need a nap.
Yeah.
It's time.
No, I can dig it, man.
It's Leo season, man. You know I've been doing what they call that shit, astrology.
Uh-huh.
Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
So I was reading some shit like it was like 3 kind of Leos, and the kind that I am, sleeping is a fucking problem. Like you don't do it very often, and I don't.
I feel like you and Erica is all 3 of the kinds.
He a different kind than me. Her day is that's the cutoff day of the cool ones.
When is yours, the 4th?
She's the 4th. I'm the 5th. She Barack Obama, so you can't count that as cool. Come on, stop it. Her and Barack, them the only niggas born on that day.
You lucky I'm you.
Since you brought up Barack, you've been talking about him for a little bit. Well,
Actually, I haven't been talking about him.
only since like 08. But he recently made an appearance on his wife and his brother-in-law's podcast. They got a podcast, in my opinion.
Husband and sister-in-law.
And
Definitely.
but he was on there recently, and you generally have some critiques of the man. But you say as you watched the full episode, you appreciate some of what he had to say?
I definitely did, man. It was a clip floating around because he did say some, I think every man needs like a homosexual role model type. And not even how I'm saying it takes it out of context.
Okay.
But I think most people who are circulating that clip taking it out of context too. What he was saying was that men need a village of men to make a man. And I do agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm going to shoot him some bail though, man. Like I think I listened to the entirety of the conversation. I think it's hard for me to listen to any kind of conversations because I probably come in, one, it's Barack Obama.
Right.
So I already come in with this kind of like skeptic view, like, what the fuck is you talking about?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear that shit. But I tried to be open-minded, and I listened all the way through, right? And it ain't just Barack, because I feel similar about Michelle, right? I think they both are leaders. I think they kind of condescending to black people. I think I don't know if they're as healthy for the community as we all tend to think they are. You know what I mean? And I still feel that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think the tone of the conversation was very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the tone of the conversation is very interesting just because of the lexicon of maleness in America today, right? And it was her and Craig leading the conversation, her brother. Right. So her and Craig was talking, and the entirety of they was trying to set this tone of how men need to change, right? Men need to. There's like a question from a guest. I'm gonna ask y'all this question too, because this is a colloquialism I only thought to be in the black community, but obviously I said a guest caller,
Right.
and it was obviously a white woman,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, "How do I change the paradigm of raising my daughter and loving my son?" Y'all ever heard that colloquialism in our community where there's like girls get raised and boys get like loved or coddled or whatever?
Yeah.
So we say coddled. The white woman said loved.
Okay.
Right? Now, I don't know if y'all, I push back against that idea. I don't think we get coddled at all. I just think it's easier to abandon a boy, personally. Right? But anyway, that was the question.
Mm-hmm.
Came in from the caller. They leveraged that question to kind of shape shift the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And Craig and Michelle was on the side of boys need, they need to learn emotional security. A lot of that shit E be talking about. You know what I mean? Shit I don't agree with, right? Yeah, definitely that. You know what I mean? But Craig was like, yes, Michelle, I agree. You know what I mean? It's his role on the podcast too, right? He just supposed to background dance, right? He tapped dance and Tony over there for your ass. That's what he gonna do. And Barack came in Barack's old way, and he tapped dance for a little while and agreed with. That's my wife. She right. You know the shit he do. Mm-hmm. But he also a Leo. So he only gonna do that shit for a while, and then he gonna say, well, I kind of think it's like this.
Well, actually.
And he went into it, and it was in a very mature, articulate way. He was like, I think a lot of what we've done a disservice to boys in America, right? Because we always talk about them from the vantage point of blame instead of what the real value of manhood is. Mm-hmm. And we can see it today. Mm-hmm. And he was like, and what's happening as shit we talk about as economies shift and change, how do we quantify manhood when it's not going to be protected in provisions anymore? Because in whole communities, it's women are greater earners because we're moving into this kind of agrarian society shit. Mm-hmm. So he spoke to that shit, and he was like, man, in a lot of ways, like maybe we need to change the tone of the conversation, and it's interesting to hear, because it's the undertone. I don't know, maybe it's me again, but I'm listening to the undertones sometimes. Mm-hmm. And because of Barack, because he's the ex-president, because he's very articulate, because he's very bright, it's hard to disagree with him. So they all agree with him. But you could tell in the very next sentence, as they start the conversation up again, or when they get a chance to talk, when your mind starts to formulate your thoughts, you openly say, I agree with that bullshit.
Right.
And that's how the rest of the conversation proceeded.
Yeah.
It was just interesting to watch the chess match play out.
No, I think it's always interesting, just in conversation, in communication, right? And people will say something, right? And it's to be agreeable or it's to be politically correct or whatever it is. But then when their next pure thought comes out, it's like,
you realize that they ain't on the same page.
Like, okay. I was having a conversation earlier, and the other person was like, nah, I see you on this thing. I see this on this thing. I was out the bound. And I'm like, cool. And the very next thing was like, but I was still kind of in the right. Like, I'm like, all right, I just, you know what I mean? Like, ain't nothing else to say about it no more. So that definitely happens, man. But I thought, first of all, I'm not as big a critic of Barack as you. As a person, politically, I criticize the hell out of his second term specifically. But that ain't the point. As a person, I'm not as critical of him as you are at times. And I found him to be, and I only seen clips. I didn't see the whole conversation, so I don't want to take things out of context. But the things that I did see that he said during that conversation, I thought they were pretty good. I thought they were pretty profound. And I even liked some of the things that Michelle had to say about him, specifically how it pertained to the type of father that he was. They was talking specifically about earlier in Sasha and Malia's lives, when they kind of would do like 2 shifts, and he would take the night shift because he was a night owl, and the bond they were able to create through that time. And it seemed like to me that whether it's a facade or whether it's for show or what, they have found a healthy nuclear family situation where I think they had a pretty healthy home. Now, again, is it real? Is it imagined? Are they truly in love? Do they drool over each other? I don't fucking know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But I do think they've built something that worked well for them and that they continue to see it through, even in the face of such controversies as, Barack is sleeping with Jennifer Aniston or Jennifer Lopez or whoever they say he's sleeping with.
Anyway. But I do think they're divorced.
Yeah.
Or at least separated. I think they're gonna put on whatever facade they got to put on.
Mm-hmm.
But again, reading the undertones, kind of knowing Leo behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's not my business though. I don't even care.
I don't even care. If they still together, if they not. Like, I think that they built. I always thought, at least since 2016, I've always thought that the greatest impact of President Obama's tenure was the symbolism of him, right? The symbolism of who he is and what he represented and what he continues to represent. And his family and his wife are a part of that. And so if they just choose to keep that symbolism rolling, I'm cool with it.
For you all. So what sparked this thought was just the mention of, I think that they're divorced or at least separated and they're going to keep face, right? I understand that for the former president and, first lady of the United States. What value, if any, do you all think that has in the black community when couples stay together, for the sake of family, for the children, whatever the case, whatever it may be, and we could talk about that. But then they end up, once the children get older, they're out of the house, whatever the case may be, a family of their own, then they, decide to, live their full lives, their happy lives, whatever the case may be. Do you all think that there's actual value in that? Like, is it healthier to stay together and put on that front, or is it healthier to separate and each individual person be happy? I know I just said a lot too, but I think you all get the gist.
My opinion is, and I'm glad you made the distinction between the Obamas, because again, I think for them the purpose is different. Their symbolism of this healthy whole black family thing is bigger than them even. But in general, I think it's healthy for two people who have realized or come to realize that they no longer want to be together or can be together, to not force that to work for the sake of anybody. I don't think anybody is being fooled by that, least of all the people in your home. And I get the idea of wanting to maintain this, full household and all that. I get that. But I think it also does damage to see a less than healthy relationship dynamic. I think you internalize some of that shit too. I think you take some of that shit with you in terms of what that looks like to be a husband, what it looks like to be a wife, what to accept from a wife, what to accept from a husband. Like, I think that it can be, I think it could be more detrimental than beneficial. Now, I always try to say when we talk about, parental stuff, I don't have any children. So I feel like my viewpoint is always should be slightly discounted. But that's just how I feel about it. I think that, staying for the kids or whatever is.
But I even just outside of just the kids, but just for whatever, for filling the blank. You get what I'm saying? Yeah, for filling the blank.
Keeping up appearances or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, but I disagree with her, and I disagree with E, and even how you presenting it. Hear what I'm saying when I say this, though. Because we quantifying it through imagery and presentation. The Western world is a sick world.
Sure.
Like, it's hard for us to quantify that because we only know it, right? But there's this exalting of the me over the we, and it kind of leads to every fucking sickness we have. It's the perpetuation of greed. It's the perpetuation of all the shit that kind of drives the vast majority of shit that kills us. It's the me over the we, right? So it's not even just imagery. There is a value to the we, and we don't have it. So even when we say my personal happiness, in most society, I ain't gonna say in most, but in Western world societies, that is the concept. Me, my personal happiness. But there's whole other ideas of life that says me ain't all that fucking important. It's only the we that's important, right? And how do I operate within the we in a healthy way so that the we can continue on? And
That's
I think
the key,
that if we was operating in a society like that, our whole vision of what is happy would be completely fucking different. I think the driver of the me informs all that, most of that other unhappy shit, right? We talk about it all the time, like whether I agree or disagree. We in the poly construct, we both agree that most relationships in America is predicated on ownership, not relationship.
Right.
Back to the me. And most times we're unhappy when you stop performing how I want you to perform. Well, I'm not your fucking avatar.
Right.
I'm not here to perform how you want me to.
Right.
Right? And genuine love is allowing me to just be. And allowing me to just be would fit into the puzzle of the we in a more uniform way if there was ever a we above the me. You get what I'm saying?
I do think that there is a bit of a, it's not an oxymoron completely, but when you say this idea of like when you stop performing the way I want you to perform, right? Now there's this issue and it's this me. If it's solely me, right? Then this idea that like I'm done, that you could like damn. It's this idea that like how can you be upset with me when I stop performing the way you want to, right? Because it's supposed to be a we thing, right? So you can't be like, well, I'm performing the way I want to perform, and she's like, nah, you stop performing the way I want you to perform. And it's like there's this dichotomy that's kind of at play there. It's like, well, when do I choose to just be, even if that is separate from what you think I should be performing as?
I hear you,
Yeah.
but maybe it's the tail wagging the dog concept. Maybe you didn't even get into that situation if you was ever allowed to be in the first fucking place.
I don't disagree.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
So, which is why even when we talk the poly relationship, idealistically, I agree with it, right?
Yeah.
From the idealistic vantage point. But I also say we in this Western world concept, it's very hard to have this we philosophy and this me socialization, right? So you might leverage a we while feeding the me, because it's not a pureness in the we. I'm gonna confuse the shit out the listener. You know what I mean?
It's a tough thing to like follow, you know, like step by step. But conceptually, it does all make sense. That's why I was struggling to find my own thought before.
And another part, even outside of, because I was having similar conversation earlier today surrounding Barack Obama shit. I always find it very interesting, and I think this is some Western world shit too, because we just not very honest. Y'all ever notice how an issue
We are
arises?
not honest.
How an issue arises, and motherfuckers start trying to fix the issue, but they fix it through the lens of the kids need to, the children need to, the young people need to. And if you're being honest and you
How are
reflect
they
on
going
whatever
to?
the issue is, the old folks got the same problem. But the onus is on the children. Now, if we reverse that.
That goes back to the old sayings like you can't teach an old dog new tricks,
But
or
check
I'm
this
too
out.
old to
But
change.
check
or
this,
you-
check this out. And I can't think of the name of the African culture. It's a warrior culture. Their greeting is "How are the children?" in their language. That is their fucking greeting.
Maasai?
The Maasai.
Yeah.
The Maasai's greeting is "How are the children?" Because the value of society's worth is predicated on Are the children healthy?
That was the tagline of our summer youth program when me and Shanita used to have a summer youth program. The tagline of it was, "How are the children?"
But think about that. Their greeting
That's
is.
the prevailing question. That's the only.
Other than this,
And
nothing matters.
Until you can answer it with all the children are well,
Fuck
we
you.
got shit. We got shit to do.
Yeah, fuck what you talking about. Now, if we pose the same arc of the question we've been having today in that society,
Yeah,
what does the answer become?
we ain't shit.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, you couldn't even get to the premise that we came to.
Yeah.
You can't even get to the fucking question. If that's the premise of your society.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can't even get to that fucking premise.
yeah. No, that's real, and I love that. And it's crazy because we can understand that in other ways, in other like meaningless ways. Like you go to like Tuscaloosa, Alabama, where University of Alabama.
Tuscaloosa, the black college too.
Sure, but I said the University of Alabama for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
They walk around the town literally, and the casual greeting is "Roll Tide."
Roll Tide.
It's like "Good morning," "Roll Tide," "Roll Tide." Like we can conceptualize that.
What's the other Alabama school that they always compete with?
Auburn,
So what's their shit?
War Eagle.
Right, so motherfuckers say War Eagle, you out of body, homie.
It's
Yeah, you out of
I
body.
gotta deal with this.
Yeah, you out of body.
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You already, the premise is wrong.
Yeah.
There's no more conversation. 'Cause
Yeah.
You didn't say Roll Tide back.
Yeah,
Right? You said War Eagle.
yeah,
What the fuck wrong with this? Like saying GD to the beaties.
yeah.
No. Over here, that ain't the premise.
But we can understand that in those contexts, in the context of sports loyalty, in the context of gangbang, we can understand that. But in the context of how are the children, like, shit, I don't
Yeah,
know.
but and I'm saying that in context to understanding community, right? When we even get to the fundamental question of what personal sovereignty or personal happiness is, the Maslow hierarchy of needs ends with the me. That's a lie. That socialization is what fuels our dysfunction. That's a lie. But it's Maslow. This is law.
Can't be wrong.
Can't be wrong, right? Our whole society is predicated on that. So then when you get sick shit, the root of the tree sick, the branch is sick, you can't recognize the sickness in the branches. This is what the fuck they supposed to do.
I think that, like, so even for me, I've said publicly a lot of times, like, my marriage would have lasted if we weren't performing, if we weren't both trying to be either what we thought the other one wanted us to be or what we thought as a collective we were supposed to be. If we were just being, we'd been fucking fine, right? Now that looks different and it takes on different shapes and forms, but it'd have been fucking fine. Like, you know what I mean? Like, do the shit you like to do. I'll do the shit I like to do, and we'll do the shit that we like to do. And when you don't make space for that, it's fucked. And you made a point earlier that in this Western society, nobody's being honest. And I think that leans into what you also say often about the world as a stage and every character plays its part, right? Like, everybody's fucking lying. Everybody's faking. This is all bullshit. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then people can't understand that conceptually when you talk about like polydynamics or whatever. Like, I'm not mad at what you would rather do or also do or whatever the fuck do. I'm mad that you don't respect me enough to be like, this is also what I would like to do, and give a person their autonomy to make whatever decision they want to make as it pertains to this shit. You're just like, no, I'm going to tell you that I love and respect you and yada, 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 yada. I'm going to lie in your face every fucking day.
So let's even erase poly off the table.
I'm just using it as a construct.
Right, but let's erase that off the table.
Okay.
Right? Where specifically, getting back to Western world premise, right? And then put ourselves into the shoe of black, right? And then put ourselves into the feet of black and male. Then put ourselves into the feet of black and female, right? Those are very different experiences at the bottom of that me social dynamic.
Sure.
But having the same aspiration as the top,
Sure.
me social dynamic.
Without the same access or...
Same access,
Yeah.
none of that shit,
Mm-hmm.
right? you say the respect factor. Well, how is respect predicated? How is respect earned as a male in Western world society? What makes you respectful?
Collecting things.
Right? These conversations is cool, but the only reason we film this shit is aspirational. Because we can have these conversations in the dark with nobody saying this shit.
No, I don't think that's true.
Shit.
I don't think that's true.
It was what Maul was saying the other day when he was on with Moores. And I agree with it. Right? I think it's levels to it, but I agree with it. Even this is a tincture of white supremacy.
Oh, fucking of course that.
Right?
I'm not being ignorant or like obtuse about that. That's not what I'm on. I'm saying, like, I think there's a much larger purpose to these conversations. One, they aren't had enough, and two, they are not had to scale, right? And so to do that here is worth it. And what I like for this podcast as a whole to eat well off of it, of fucking course, because it takes a lot of fucking time and energy and everything else to do it. So yeah, I would like this whole team to eat off of it very well, but I don't think that's where we started to do it.
That's not what I'm saying.
Okay.
Right? And I think this shit is so deeply rooted and ingrained that we're not even conscious of it most times. Right? Like, I remember being very, very young and an adult would ask you, like, what you want to do when you grow up.
Sure.
I don't fucking know. Right? But what I did know is, nigga, they gonna name streets after me. You understand? Like,
I thought she laughed.
I thought she laughed.
I thought she laughed real hard too.
It's all good.
I thought you spit her drink out laughing.
But what's that answer attached to? What's that answer attached to? The answer is attached to ego. Right? Ego is attached to the me. 8, 7, where the fuck? It starts very early.
Right.
This is the value access point for manhood. That was never attached to money.
No.
Right?
No.
It was attached to, I have a larger than life kind of view of myself at 7.
True.
That don't really go away.
True.
You know what I mean?
True.
So it's still based in this and rooted in the same philosophy of the me over the we.
Yeah, in a way, but I think the way you approach things matters, and I think that like to want to be a politician, right? Which we've talked about you a lot of times, and you've always said no, right? But to want to be a politician, you have to have a significant amount, matter of fact, of this self-righteousness, of this I know better than everybody else how this shit needs to go. Otherwise, you don't run and say, hey, let me be the leader of the country, the state, the city, this town, this district. This you don't say let me lead 500 people or 500 million people unless you're like, I know better than most of you motherfuckers. So there's some self-righteousness that comes along with even aspiring to be a politician or some shit like that, or a clergyman, any of that shit. You can say God called me to do it. Cool, shout out to you and God. But you still heard that from God as you can lead this church better than any fucking body. So all of that, like, it goes together, but I still think if you approach it the right way, it can still be done in love and in humility. And I mean healthy humility. I don't mean that bullshit humility that doesn't allow you to say, no, I'm raw with this. Yeah, I think it can be done in a positive way.
Yeah, surely. Still attached to ego.
Sure. No, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Still attached to ego, right? The story of Jesus is giving away all worldly things, letting go of all things, right? The story of Buddha, letting go of ego, right? That's all of the deities that we pray to is getting back to self, right? Getting back to the inner self, right? That operates within unison with the outer world.
Sure.
Right? There's some arguments that there's only really one self. Every human being is just a different avatar of the one self. Think about that shit. Imagine us all being ideas of one human body. We are all just ideas of one human body. Think about, you know what I'm saying? Like, it sounds crazy, but it also makes a lot of fucking sense.
One of my most vivid memories of childhood, I had to be about 10. And I was trying to explain this thought that I had to my cousins. My brother Ron was there. My cousin Erica was there. My cousin Janice was there. And I was trying to, to this day, I can't articulate it.
You had a cousin named Janice?
Yeah.
Is she 50? 60?
Nah, Janice younger than me.
Somebody's named Janice and she ain't 72 years old?
My name's Herbert.
Yeah, that's true. Your people got some old shit
come
going
on.
You old nigga names.
Whoa. But no, I was trying to explain this concept to them that I had in my head, and it was this epiphany that I had of like, why am I me? Right? And that was the only thing I can get to. That was as far as I could articulate it. Like, why am I me? And they looking at me like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we 10, 12, 13. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? And I'm like, out of everybody on this fucking planet, there's somebody in fucking Madagascar right now in the corner. Like, why, out of all these people, why am I me? Why do I see the world through this lens? Why do I get it from this perspective, this experience? Why am I here on 71st and Jeffrey in Chicago? Like, why am I here as opposed to who the fuck cares wherever else, right? How, out of all of the people in the world, are you, right? Like, and like I said, to this day, I still don't have a much deeper vocabulary to articulate what I feel about this, but it feels so abstract. It feels so like, how the fuck am I just this? How am I this person? How am I this vessel? How do I have this? Like, how do I see the world through these eyes as opposed to any fucking other ones? Mm-hmm. And why is that like who I am? Not just like, okay, my parents had a child and that child's name is Herbert, right? But that's my perspective of the entire fucking world. And how does that fucking happen? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's weird, right? It's just strange to me that this is the lens I view the world through from birth until death, and everything else is semi-foreign to me. Even my friends, my siblings, like,
ain't the same.
It's different. It's different.
I thought about that before, and just to get a little weird.
Yeah.
And then also, since you brought up the question about or the thought about relationships and stuff, but I've definitely thought about that before, and I feel like I've had moments where I kind of like snap back into my body. You ever had a moment like that where you kind of just feel like you just jump back in your body, and now you're like fully aware of like what's happening around you? I think those two are tied together. But also with dating, so like too, you were talking about just being, which I love how you said I was wrong and I didn't even give a point of view. I just asked the question and you completely disagree. You completely disagree with me.
If you
I know.
Get to the premise, if that was a we conversation, if we had a we society, the question couldn't even exist.
Okay. Yeah. So I've been thinking about this like with dating, right? Mm-hmm. Questioning myself a lot about that whole kind of like just being situation, or like, am I judging this person based on kind of like societal standards without knowing it? But then it starts becoming like an overthinking thing, you know what I mean? And then I just let it go altogether. Or why are you into this person so much versus, this person? Or is it a spiritual thing? Is it not a spiritual thing? Is it a connection thing? Is it not a connection thing? I think it's very hard to move in the world, period. You know what I mean? Whether it be in relationship, like romantic relationship, whatever you do. What you're talking about, the podcast and the conversations that we're having is linked to white supremacy and whatever the case may be. It's very, very hard not to have that question mark in any area of your life, really, I feel like.
I agree.
Until maybe it's not, I don't know, and none of us have gotten there, I don't think.
Is it not hard to have that question, or is it just harder to just let go? You understand what I'm saying when I ask that?
Yes.
I'm qualified through all these lenses, and just instead of being free, like Herb said, being where my feet are, none of that shit matters.
Hey, I did take a little victory lap when I read your caption.
I said it. I used it
on E's happy birthday post.
I used it because it makes sense.
Said, look at my son talking to his son.
This motherfucker here. I got draws older than you.
That's a shame.
It is.
That is ridiculous.
It is.
That's insane.
I'm healthy and hygienic.
That's
Anyway, my
insane.
point is this though.
Um,
But I'm being very, very serious though, right? Like so much of how we, again, even you judging dude or whoever,
I'm just in general.
right? In general, right? You got to have the understanding that he's coming to the table judging himself,
mm,
Right?
right? You're coming to the table judging yourself per a standard that don't exist for you. It ain't real. Everybody's judging a caricature.
what's water
Get
too?
the fuck out of here,
What's water too?
Everybody should be hoarders.
right? It ain't about being whores. It's
Most
legitimate.
people are whores.
Right,
Let's just
but that's because they're
establish
also
that.
caricatures. They're not dealing with how they feel because they don't even understand how they feel. Because how they feel is usually attached to an outcome. And outcomes are usually attached to ideas. It's over.
Yeah. I don't know, man. It's hard to deal with because one, it's so ingrained. We're so ingratiated, and what's water? What's water? Shout out to Sadiq. We mentioned this at the top of the show, and I was joking about the Ali shit, and I don't want to do this any disservice. We want to sincerely send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Malcolm-Jamal Warner.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say Ozzy Osbourne. I was going to say
No. I was joking. I was joking about that, but I don't want the loss of Malcolm-Jamal Warner to get caught up in the jokes and shit. It's tragic, man. You talk about, I think he was 54 years old.
54.
54 years old. Died off the coast of Costa Rica, in an apparent drowning. The reports say that the tides came in and kind of took him out. And the water is not to be played with. We talked about that a couple times when summertime shower rolled around and boating season and all that. I don't want to harp on how he died. I just want to highlight what a great loss it is. But also, man, all of the monuments or odes to his career or his character or whatever that we've heard since his passing, it just reminded me like we have to do better, man, at giving people their flowers while they're here, bro. Like as soon as somebody dies, it's like, oh my God, Theo. Well, he was Theo 40 years ago. Nigga ain't been Theo in 30 years, more than that. And the praises, the due praises, the just praises weren't given. They weren't there. I mean, we all appreciate it. We all like the show. We know the cachet that the show carries in our lexicon, but I just think we could do better. Not just him, not just period. We can do better with giving people their flowers and showing that appreciation on a daily basis. And I'm not even just talking about, actors or athletes or movie stars. Just people around you, G. Like, it's people around you that's doing dope shit that you know to be dope that we don't necessarily be like, man, that's so fucking dope. I'm so fucking proud of you. And it's because we created a culture where maybe that's not cool, or even the people receiving it don't receive it well. Like, it makes me uncomfortable. Like,
Because what's dope if it's not seen through the lens of monetization? Malcolm-Jamal Warner just launched the podcast less than a year ago.
all right.
Right? Salute to Dilla too, because like Dilla says, man, everything dope about America comes from Chicago. They report that Malcolm-Jamal Warner's from New Jersey. Malcolm-Jamal Warner's dad is from Chicago. He spent his summers in Chicago for the duration of his life. He has a very strong tie to Chicago. His dad was a professor at Chicago State.
Yeah. He was in Chicago the only time you could be outside in Chicago. Like,
And he spoke very highly of his father and his impact in his life and how he kind of became who he is in large part because of who his father was and how his father reared him as a child. I heard an interview not too long ago. I've heard these stories over time, just in different settings or whatever. But I think it was NPR or something. They was playing a little old Malcolm-Jamal Warner song. He was talking about every summer he'd come here and his dad would make him read this, that, and the third, all these Black Power books. And he would go back to school in New Jersey. And he said, I'm in 5th, 6th grade. and I have like the selected poems of Malcolm X, and him have it on his desk, and people like, man, you writing poetry now? Because they related Malcolm X to him because they didn't know who Malcolm X was
Right.
at 5th grade.
Right.
So at the moment he found empowerment, it was like, damn man, they don't even know who this dude is. My daddy put me on game, and he found power in that. So to the vein of, at least in my understanding of regular black.
Sure.
And that political declaration for me, what that looks like.
Sure.
That's what my blackness looks like, right? So when you say we need to do better, I agree, but that's not the regular black that I value so much. That's not cool, right? Because it's not attached to a name brand this or a dollar sign that or the license plates attached to or the rims being this big, right? And that's the failure. I heard a designer talking this weekend, a clothes designer. He was like, man, you can't find a Gucci or Louis Vuitton vintage T-shirt. You'll never find it. And the dude he was talking to was like, why not? He was like, because they didn't make it. It was beneath them. But when they saw that we were making streetwear and it was popular, they jumped in the game. And they're so good at convincing our stupid asses that now we can't be in business because they make the shit that we made popularized that we now devalue. Think about how the societal mechanisms work. You know what I'm saying? Like this shit happened in our face. We saw FUBU be FUBU. We saw Kanai be Kanai. We also know what that is today. Why is it that?
I mean, like with everything else, you take a figurehead, you give them a position, and it changes everything. Like, no knock to Pharrell or none of that shit, but he's the creative director of Louis now, and everybody's trying to get their hands on all the fucking Louis possible, and it's as much a designer exclusive wear as it is a streetwear, to the point. And I don't mean like the price or you see everybody in it, but I mean to the point of you have the likes of Pusha T as a runway model. You know what I mean? Literally in Paris, and like you got Pusha T as the runway model, so that you can make this look the same way that like the two-piece denim fits used to look back in the day when you just rocking with some Timbs and a white tee. But now the white tee says Louis on it.
Popularized by Kanai.
Yeah.
That's real interesting.
That's a real thing, man. Let me ask you this before we move on from brother Malcolm-Jamal. What was your favorite scene with him from the Cosby's? You got 10 years on me.
Gordon Gartrell shirt scene. The scene when they were singing the blues down the stairs. That's dope. All the things they kind of gave her old time.
My favorite one with him in it, and I love the Gordon Gartrell for sure, because Denise smoked his shirt. That shit was insane. But then they end up liking it at the prom or some shit, at the dance or some shit. He came back excited. But my favorite one was I got two. One was the earring scene when he got his ear pierced. And he in there trying to hide it from his dad. And he leaning back. He turning sideways. All that shit was so fucking funny. But my favorite scene from him was the Monopoly money scene.
I remember that one.
He telling Dr. Huxtable that he can live his life good with his regular job. I don't need to go to college. I don't need to go to college. I'll give me a regular. He said, you want to get a regular? What's a regular job? He said something. He said, how much you gonna make on that job? He said a number. Okay, cool. Pull out the Monopoly money. This the rent. This. You gonna have a girlfriend? He said, because Theo was like, ooh, I still got X amount of dollars left. He said, you gonna have a girlfriend? Yeah, I'm gonna have a girlfriend. Took all that back. Like,
run that.
That's the end of it. That was one of my favorite scenes too, man. But anyway, man, salute to his contributions, man. For real. We appreciate that.
Hey, man, we ain't really super get into it, but you was talking about the Clips album and the elder statesman in hip hop.
Yeah, man. You said somebody just dropped the album?
Yeah, Raekwon just dropped the album. But more importantly, but I want to talk about that point about the elder statesman, specifically the Clips. But I sent y'all something like right before I came, and there was this conversation around Drake and Travis Scott.
Yeah.
And the conversation around it was like suburban black boy archetype and how that needs to be studied, because they're a caricature of an idea of what black is supposed to be. And they're trying to fit into what I would assume, i.e. hood, street nigga, is the standard of blackness, right? I thought that was interesting because she made Drake and
Travis
Scott the poster child for that idealism.
Mm-hmm.
But then in the Clip's first record, which talking about the death of his mother and his father, Malice is rapping about his daddy.
Mm-hmm.
And he's giving all this high praise and worship to the kind of man
Mm-hmm.
that his father was. And he
Right.
ends the verse with, imagine his surprise when he found bricks in the cupboard.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if your mama and your daddy were these idealized characters that you're rapping about,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that would drive you to those streets where you got birds in the cupboard? And if we're quantifying them, because she, in that same video, she quantifies them as the real deal.
Right.
Drake and Travis Scott, I don't know Travis Scott's story as much, but Drake's story was, I'm Canadian, whatever that experience is.
Right.
But his daddy was, a Rolling Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Rolling Stones probably got more acceptance to bricks in the cupboard than the old man that's working double time and double shifts to take care of his family.
Mm-hmm.
It just a very interesting dichotomy there to me that I thought should be explored a little bit.
I think that the where, I think the where matters, all that stuff. But I think also just the appeal of capitalism and all that, man. We talk about Ali Sadiq as a comedian, and he talks about his history with drugs and prison and all of that. But at the end of one of his specials, he do a whole hour and a half special, and he said, man, I look back on this shit. He's like, my mama love me, my pops love me. I ain't have to do this shit. He said, I realized I went through all it. It was the one he calls loss. The one he calls loss. We talk about losing everything. Sister, girlfriend, all this kind of shit.
For a Gucci sweatsuit or Nike tracksuit.
For a tracksuit. He said, I realized I did all this shit for a tracksuit. Because the nigga walked up on him with a fresh tracksuit on.
But look, now let's juxtapose that. Ali jumped knee deep in for a Nike tracksuit.
Yeah.
Right? And I appreciate you saying all this matters, like where, how, all that shit matters. And I so agree, which is why I dispel the concept of the suburban black boy.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I grew up in a gang-infested neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a gang banger.
Right.
I'm gang associated and affiliated because this just happened to be my motherfucking address.
Yeah.
Right? I can fight. I'm not a fighter.
Mm-hmm.
I have to fight because that was just associated with the geography
Part of it.
of where.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I dress a certain way, but it is not reflective of said community I come from. I've enjoyed books since very early in my life.
I've enjoyed books.
You understand? It's real shit here, bro.
I know.
I really started thinking about this shit.
Mm-hmm.
I align more with the Clips than Drake. My daddy could have found some shit in the cupboard.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right? But in most instances, not just having that one thought, I was like, damn, man. Because I had both parents too.
Mm-hmm.
Is having both parents the qualifier?
No.
Or my engagement, because I can't say I wasn't engaged.
Right.
But it almost was not like an engagement of choice. It was like if I had my way, this is what I'd be doing today.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So all of those decisions were decisions of geography.
Yeah.
Damn near more than anything.
Yeah.
Right? So what becomes the qualifier? Right? Because the stereotypical version of what blackness should be, specifically male blackness, is some shit I could walk in comfortably. I could say I did all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? But I could also say I reject all that shit.
Yeah.
Right? Which is kind of, I have a greater affinity. I believe them niggas more than I do the niggas who embrace it. The niggas who get up and reject it, I believe you did it. The niggas who embrace it, I don't know if I believe you.
So I just think it's the actors, right? That type of shit. That's yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't see it.
Nah, Vic Mensa, shout out to Vic Mensa too.
I fuck with Vic.
Yeah, he raw as hell, and he put out a project that got some great imagery in it as it pertains to slavery and its connection to the music industry, or its parallels with the music industry. I think that, like, I don't know, man. Like, I didn't have two parents, right? I didn't know my father. He wasn't in the house, but my mama was more than enough for me to get by. Like, I never wanted for shit. I was never fucking hungry or unclothed. I had all the J's. I had all the fucking Nintendos and PlayStations, and I had all the shit. You know what I'm saying? I was good, but there's this other element to my community that I wanted to know too. You know what I mean? It was like there's this other thing that's happening. I want to know that too. And I had enough sense to know it only as much as I wanted to know it, but I had to know it though. You know what I mean? And it took me to corners, or it took me to alleys, or it took me to fights, it took me to, all kind of shit. But even still, it'll be like, everybody on this corner is gonna go to jail in about 30 minutes. I'm going home. You know what I mean? Like, and that was a luxury I had. Cause some niggas didn't really go, home wasn't a real thing. Like, you know what I mean? So I don't know. Was I faking? Yes and no.
But see, that's the argument I'm making. There is no faking. It's not a choice you make. That's kind of the argument I'm making. Because and I'm only using the argument that she presented. Because that's what she said about Travis Scott and Drake. That they're pretending. It's cosplay. It's you're not like us.
Right.
Right? And she kind of made the same argument that Kendrick said, hey, that's a luxury for you to be able to act in this role. Right? And what I'm saying is that the Clips, who kind of have made a career off dope rap, and they've got people from their town that backs and says, yeah, they played the game.
Yeah.
Right? I present a certain way, but I'm affiliated with the biggest criminals in this city. And like, they're my really good friends. You know what I mean? Like, the ones that niggas honor. I don't carry it like that. I don't brag about that, but them niggas, you can find them niggas in my house. You know what I mean? That ain't by accident. You know what I'm saying? That ain't by accident. But at the same time, I don't wear that as a badge of honor like that.
No, sure, but I think when you've lived that real experience, you don't carry it like that at all. First of all, you don't even know it, right? So I had to get older to realize that all of my uncles and all of these, they weren't my parents' siblings, but they was my uncles. They was around all the time. They took care of me, and they always had chains and watches, and they would give me money. But you don't compute that shit at 6. It don't mean shit to you at 6. It's just, this is who these niggas are, and they got nice cars. But you don't put that together like that. I remember coming out. I remember my mama getting into it with our neighbor one time. This dude that stayed upstairs. He was a jerk, asshole, ass nigga. But I remember her getting into it with him like some day. And I remember that night, like, just coming in the kitchen, and this whole kitchen table is full of guns. Pissed my uncle and them just sitting around, and they talking shit, and I can smell what I know now to be weed. You know what I mean? Like, and they talking they shit, and this motherfucker, and this motherfucker. I went up there, the nigga. I'm like, well, damn. You know what I mean? Like, even that is like, you still trying to compute that part of it, but it's like, you don't really know that until later. You're like, oh shit. Like, they was them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Plus, when you six, let's see, my mother had me when she was 22. She's 28. When you 6, I don't give a fuck how old your mama is. You think she's 93 years old. She's 28. These niggas is 25, 26, 28, 30. Like, and they are them niggas. And it's like, oh shit. But you don't realize that until way later. It's like, oh, got it. And then they start to kind of guide you through some shit. They see you do some shit. They're like, hey, if you gonna woo out the bam this way or that way. And it's like,
Nobody wants to be doing it. The people that want to do it don't want to do it.
It's just interesting, man. I thought the whole argument, the argument made me think about different shit. Not that I even disagree with Shorty. I think they are portraying the image that they don't necessarily relate to. When you're from Canada, the culture different. It's just a different culture, right? But I did juxtapose that to the clip for his verse when he kind of gave this ode to honoring his daddy. And usually when you hear a story like that, you don't associate the outcomes of that being a kingpin.
Right.
But I know my own life, and I know I ain't never said I was a kingpin, or never nothing like that. But I know official kingpins in the city whose daddy was instrumental in their life, and they official kingpins in the city. It's just very interesting dichotomy.
It go both ways. It's a conversation I want to have with two of my youngest, man. They grew up in the birds, and I just watching how they carry it. One, they carry it differently. Like one is real quiet and reserved, but the young woman in the video also said, "I'm too cool to care," and that part stuck out with me about him. It's like
even if you look at me and TJ,
he do his shit, handle his business, but
if you looked at me and TJ grew up in the suburbs. I would look like I was the one that grew up in the suburbs if you was judging from the outward appearance and the stereotypical of what's supposed to be. You know what I mean? It's just very interesting.
It's interesting, man. It's interesting how it affects different people and how they carry it. You know, on
and I'm not saying that's a qualifier. That's kind of my argument, really.
Yeah, on further through our life. It's interesting, man, for sure. Are you gonna put out a new design for these mugs by the time this episode drops?
Nope. I'm gonna run with this one and put our new ad together.
The ad is hard, but making it an actual
we're gonna
cup
add
is fire.
this one and roll with it, and then next week we'll give them another option. We're gonna sell these out first.
Okay. Well, keep doing what y'all have been doing, namely by the herb one, because
you think that's what they've been doing? You ain't take them numbers, huh?
Listen,
And again, like I said, salute to my friends.
I'm not gonna say the
carry
numbers
him.
to y'all.
I appreciate y'all.
I'm not gonna say the numbers to y'all, but
my friends is carrying you,
I
bro, and I ain't
assure
mad
you
at it.
that
I salute it.
This
10 years older, we more financially
this-
solvent.
the
Your
herb
boyfriends
mug-
will get here in 10 years.
The herb mug is up so much that we came up with a new ad campaign just because of how much the herb mug is up.
That's not how I remembered it, bro.
Oh, that's
Okay.
exactly
But ain't
how-
fair to you in the roadway.
P, is that true? Is that how we
Is that how
came
you
to the new
remember
one?
it, P?
Yes.
P, this thing with the Willie Young and Mav, he never did Mav in his life.
I'm telling you. That's how it came to be. Either way,
buy the shit.
Go ahead, cop a mug. Go to herbandtool.com. Grab one of these mugs. We need to drop probably some new merch and stuff too, man. But we definitely appreciate all y'all for rocking with us, for continuing to rock with us. We greatly appreciate it. Like Tu was talking about earlier, like I do want to eat off of this thing of ours. Even if that wasn't the initial purpose, but I think it's an important conversation. Hopefully y'all think it's an important enough conversation to continue. And all that shit costs, all of it. So please keep rocking with us. Anything else before we go, man?
Breonna Taylor.
I want y'all to talk about it.
It don't have to be this episode, but I want
You
y'all to
put it out
talk.
there. Let's get it out there.
I want y'all to talk about that clip that you sent with that guy, that podcast clip. What's the guy you said you liked him? The Cheesecake Podcast. What's it called? Maybe it's not called the Cheesecake. It's the guy
I do know what you're talking about though, so
Yeah.
I gotta get to it. But
and he was basically saying that you looking for her
yeah,
because I have it, but he was basically saying I'll let him bring it up because I hate to be jibber jabbering and not
You jibber jabbering
speaking to it. The guy talking about
who the real Jews. I don't give a
This
fuck.
shit.
this.
I don't really care. I don't give a fuck about who the real Jews is, nigga. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about the Grand Canyon and how to walk to Africa. I don't give a fuck about the Anunnaki. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck? This ain't no shit I could prove. I could prove them niggas put crack in our neighborhoods. I could prove that this shit has afflicted us. I could prove this shit destroyed our communities. I could prove this shit killed hundreds of thousands, if not millions of black men or incarcerated them. I could prove that shit. I could prove there was a lot of mothers left out here to do this shit on their own and integrate into the corporate world to take care of their fucking kids. I could prove that I had to stay home all day with my motherfucking sisters and being watched by, and a lot of young black girls had to become mothers themselves at a young age. I could prove that shit. Can't prove no fucking Anunnaki. Come on, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, man. Nigga don't give a fuck about no spaceships, nigga. Nigga don't give a fuck about that shit. Y'all niggas be worried about dumb shit. Cause that shit soothes you because you're trying to detach from the reality. And the reality is, 3-letter organizations destroyed your fucking community and left you in the remnants. And you living in the effects of it, and you don't know how to fucking, you don't know how to wrap your mind around that. You don't see a way out, you feel hopeless. Let me look in the motherfucking sky. Man, get that shit up out of here, bruh. I mean, on that bullshit, you ain't gonna save nobody like that. You might as well go back to Jesus. Niggas want to sit here and talk Jesus all day. We had community when we was in the church. Ain't no fucking community that's looking at the motherfucking sky for no Anunnaki, nigga. Y'all niggas be focused on dumb shit because you detaching from reality. You disassociating. Because the work is hard. Community is hard. Getting back to base and getting back to square one and loving yourself again, starting with loving yourself and then having to love your brother.
All right, that's enough. It's only about half of it, but that came from the Grits and Eggs podcast. I don't know that dude's name or the host.
His name is Deontay Delon, something Calvin, I think it is. I've seen him before.
Okay.
Yeah, what about it?
You shared that clip too. So
Herb sent that.
Yeah, I shared the clip.
Oh, I thought it was
like,
you,
what
and I
think
thought
about
you
that
said.
dude?
Oh, okay, yeah. I thought one of y'all said, "What do y'all think about the clip?"
I asked her with questions. What do you think about it?
Yeah, so that's what I want y'all to.
Yeah, I don't think he's like off base in terms of the survival mode that people are in that doesn't really allow for this deep dive into these mythical, fantastical, or even factual things because again, you're on the edge of survival. So I think he has a point there, but I do always quibble a little bit with this idea of only addressing the world as we can currently see it and not as we think it should be. And I think was it the mayor or was it Cam? Somebody was here and they were talking, I think this was Cam. He was talking about addressing something with his son, about practicing baseball or something like that. And how he wants to ideally let him know that it's okay to cry and be sad and this and that and third, but also preparing for a world that says, nigga, no, it's not okay. And I think there's a balance that needs to be struck between what is and what should be.
Y'all ever heard of the Crusades?
Like specific, like what is that? I don't know.
The Crusades was a charge led by the Catholic Church where they killed millions of motherfuckers.
Okay.
And it's how Rome became Rome and the Vatican became the Vatican, and how the Catholics came
Makes sense.
power. Right? Y'all ever heard of the Jews in Israel?
Yeah.
Right? What race of people is Jews?
It's not a race.
You fucking right.
Mm-hmm.
So what are they aligning around?
Religion.
An
unified
idea.
thought. Right.
A fucking idea.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy Davis Jr. was a fucking Jew.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Right? But me, you, and none of the rest in this room would ever associate Sammy Davis Jr.
Right.
with a Jew.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Right? If we look at the last 7 wars in America, right, you could legitimately argue that's because of Jewish power. Hollywood, television, we hear the conversations. The Jews dictate this as a power stream.
Mm-hmm.
So he said 3-letter organizations. Talking about them from the vantage point of power. I could quantify how their power fucks you.
Mm-hmm.
But can you quantify why they have power?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should always pull back the layers to kind of get the questions answered.
That's less tangible.
That's the hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can quantify this. I can get proof of this. That's the easy work.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody see the outcome. Who saw the fucking work?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying about only addressing it from where you can see it.
Yeah,
It's like,
by the time you see the iceberg, that bitch is really this big.
hey, that tip ain't it.
That tip ain't it.
That ain't what the boat hit.
That's just what the boat hit.
No, it's not what the boat hit.
Right. That's what I'm saying. They under the surface, this shit is this big.
That's why we're sinking.
That's why we singing, because this shit is this big. Yeah. Right? So the only argument, I'm not knocking dude, I get it. But the same argument he's making, somebody on the other side of that argument can make that argument about him.
Mm-hmm. They bank on that argument from him.
They do.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I talk about the Anunnakis. Right?
Yeah.
I ain't with Jesus. That don't mean I can't see the power in Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
I ain't with Allah. That don't mean I can't see the power in Allah.
Butted out the villain in the book.
I ain't with the BDs. That don't mean I can't see the power in the BD. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The idea is what unified them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We talk about gay, and I've said this since the moment we've ever had a conversation, and Herb puts the, we laugh and we joke and shit. But my only qualm with black gay people is that gay is the asterisk before black. Get the fuck out of here. Right? Because the only unifying thing we have is blackness. Right? So if it's the Anunnakis or nigga Egypt or whatever the fuck you can find some value in.
But if blackness is a political declaration, shout out to Booby. And how many blacks are there?
Just us. That's it. Right? Just us. But
I mean, in America.
right, it's roughly 33 million.
And if it's a political declaration, how many of us are there?
By number, it's
Correct.
33
5.
million. Right, by number, it's 33 million by the standard of what makes you black. By ideal, I don't know if there's any. Because there is no alignment. Right? But it's uber alignment at the same time.
Yep. Depending on what we're talking about.
You understand what I'm saying? None of the same thoughts, all the same movement.
Another question. I also saw this clip. I came across this clip of this, I think it was a white girl or whatever. And she was basically...
I found a white girl.
She was basically saying, like, hear me out. I don't know if I sound crazy or whatever, but she was like, she don't understand how black people are hated, so much. She said, you mean to tell me that people really came together and just, like, hate these folks just because of the color of their skin? She was saying it must be more to it, like, and then she started saying, like, well, what if she was like, hear me out, I know I sound crazy, but what if they have, like, superpowers, or what if is it something they're not telling us? Is it something that they know that we don't know, that they're trying to prevent, blah, blah, blah. And so then in the comments, a lot of black people were saying the many different things. They were referring to the Bible. They were referring to, being the real Jews. They were referring to, various components, Supercell, the TV show, and how if we all basically kind of sync together that we'll be this thing, whatever, right? So, I lost my train of thought. I hate when that happens. But I was going to say, so what is back to the grits and whatever the name of the podcast is, cheddar and grits podcast, grits and eggs, grits and ham, whatever the name of the podcast is. That talk about him stating, everybody is trying to basically lean on these fantasies to not deal with the real issue at hand and what we know is happening currently. Do y'all think that it is important to know who we are or who we could be, what we could be, to kind of live on that quote unquote fantasy? You know what I mean?
So,
or is it more important to deal? Is it more important to deal with what's in front of us today?
I already know what Tu's gonna say, and I agree with him. So I'm just gonna say this. I think it's most important for us to truly understand who we are as black Americans in this experience only. If we didn't know shit else, right? If we honestly knew this story in a real way, not in a watered down way, but just in a real way, what this story means and what this story tells. This story being the black American experience.
The American story. The black American story.
If we only knew
1619 on.
If we only knew that, you would know every fucking thing you need to know to take over and dominate some shit. And I don't know that we are hated because of some superpowers and all that shit. I think we are super people, cool. And I understand why people came to Africa specifically when you talk about going to build a country, because of what had already been built on the continent, because of the type of people that were building it, because of the temperament of the people that were there, that would allow for, such things to even take place. But if you just get to what happened once we got here, you talk about super people that were bred and trained, and the perseverance, the intelligence, the willpower, the strength, like all of it, to the fact that we are still here. When you look at the atrocities that we have had committed upon us, like, it's fucking insane. Like, it's fucking insane, the shit that was going on. So that's like when the mayor was here and he talked about picking Nat Turner to represent the thug on dinner time, and we was joking, but we was dead serious. Like, nah, I get it. You the mayor. say the politically correct thing, but no, kill them motherfuckers. Like, and the history of people of that ilk is what has us here today, unapologetically saying the things that we say to then put out on the fucking internet for anybody to see it. Because fuck y'all, this is the truth. This is the truth of the Black American experience as we have lived it, as we have survived it, and as we have continued to try and thrive in it. Fuck y'all.
So, but back to why I ain't necessarily locked in with Dude's statement, right? We are amazing. We are magical, but not in the sense of black magic. In the sense of lack, creativity is grown out of lack, right? Our story is the most traumatic story in written history. There's no other group on the planet in written history has our story. No other group. So even when you say where we come from, we're the only group that walks the planet that can't say where we come from.
I don't know.
We don't know.
Your shit get the cut
But
off on
what
the
we
south
do
side,
know
on
is
Mississippi.
that when we hit these shores, we became something different, right? And what we became was a result of the oppression that we was faced with. We are special. We are different because you bred us, nigga. We are a group of superhumans. Because just like if you bred a fucking dog, you're going to breed him to be the strongest, the toughest, whatever the fuck you need him to do.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, motherfucker, we are a supercell. But it's not by, it's no mysticism. It's by the science of breeding.
This is what happened.
This is what the fuck happens. Right? But there's other shit that's involved in that. The lack. Right? 400 motherfucking years of labor. While the motherfucker who owns you does nothing. You're learning everything out of lack. You don't get the benefit of it.
Right.
But
you
you
know
know
all the
it
shit.
all. Right? All the shit. Again, I said one day, said some earlier, there's one avatar. We just extension to that one avatar. Right? I am the sum total of all that came before me. That's science. Right? The way genes work, I'm just the sum total of all that came before me. And every cell holds remnants of every cell.
It's all still there.
It's all still here in me. Whatever that motherfucker that was in 1620,
It's all there.
I got that information in me. Right? And you bred me to be, and we are suffering to lack to this day. And you're learning new shit. Right? Boog, super producer. What nigga you know got $500,000 worth of musical equipment in the house at 95th Street? That ain't a logical thing.
No.
Right? But whatever's in his genetic makeup took his ass to Radio Shack and he was playing the machines till he mastered it.
I have to do it.
Right? These sounds like amazing stories, but these are just these stories. They ain't fucking amazing. This is what you do when you operate in lack. You figure out a motherfucking way. That's just it. Right? But the part of the shit that we're missing is the shit that bonds that. And the shit that bonds that is the backstory. And because we've been trained to hate our backstory on this soil, we try to idealize a different backstory. I do agree with him. We do idealize the backstory. But I ain't mad at idealizing shit. Just idealize it together.